It's time!
Drop it like it's hot. What do I mean? Well, only in the crypto markets can you be airdropped tens of thousands of dollars for putting in the little bit of work of utilizing new and tokenless crypto protocols. I've been covering airdrops since the beginning, and I won't stop until every one of my subscribers has earned themselves a big airdrop. So are you ready for the notorious DROP? Because it's time for Chico Crypto. Everyone is talking about airdrops recently because there are some big ones on the horizon. zkSync and LayerZero are likely going to do an airdrop soon. And like always, I was one of the first ones to start covering the possibility, showing my subs how they can be in the best position to be eligible to receive their drops. I covered LayerZero first all the way back in November of 2022. And I first covered zkSync's potential airdrop a year before this, all the way back in December of 2021. For those of you that watched and listened to those videos, you are an OG and will probably qualify and be rewarded handsomely for your early efforts and support. But I still think there is time to qualify for the latecomers, so I included my most recent videos for each of these airdrops in the description. But this video isn't about the old, it's all about the new, the big under the radar airdrops that are going to make early airdrop hunters big money. So the first possible airdrop we are covering today is EigenLayer, and they're focusing on restaking for Ethereum. So first, what exactly is restaking? Restaking allows a user who has already staked ETH to restake that ETH to other protocols, such as oracles, bridges, sidechains, execution layers, and more. So, what does this mean? It means a staked ETH that is securing ETH main chain is also being used to secure other protocols, which include additional slashing conditions, which results in additional token rewards for stakers. Although it isn't only staked ETH that can be used. As we can see from their DApp, besides native staking with Beacon Chain ETH, you can restake LSTs or liquid staking tokens like Lido's ST-ETH, Rocket Pool's RETH, and even Coinbase's CB-ETH. Now, last month, on June 14th, Eigen officially entered stage 1 of their mainnet rollout, which as we can see is a guarded launch, with restaking limits or caps assigned to each supported asset. But the important thing we can gather from this launch article is the fact that they mention EigenLayer governance and the decentralization of the protocol. They say this regarding decentralization and governance. As the protocol matures, the goal is to increasingly establish immutable parameters and rules that foster a decentralized network of participants that sustainably contribute to the protocol. This effort will require active participation from members of the community like you. EigenLayer eagerly looks forward to your engagement in an inclusive and transparent decision-making culture that strengthens the protocol governance model and future projects. The Eigen team is basically saying if you want to participate in the governance and decentralization of the protocol, you need to contribute to the protocol. This translates to me that they will be rewarding contributors with a token airdrop. And the CEO of Eigen, Sharim Kanan, reiterated decentralized governance was coming on the Bankless podcast just last month. Let's listen in.
But as the protocol evolves and we understand the role for governance, we may have to think about how to create a decentralized governance. So we are committed to a progressive decentralization roadmap rather than to decentralization on day one.
The only way for decentralized governance is through a governance token. It's coming, and most likely through an airdrop. So how do you contribute and possibly earn yourself a spot for this airdrop? Well, of course you can use the mainnet, but remember, this is the early stage of the mainnet, and there are caps on the amount of assets that can be staked. From this tweet from Eigen, we can see the caps are 15,000 for each of the LST tokens. And going back to the app, we can see these are full, so no restaking of LSTs until the caps are increased again. Although from this Eigen tweet, we can see there's no cap for native restaking. So if you have 32 ETH and can set up an ETH validator, you can participate in the mainnet right now. So for those of you who don't have 32 ETH, I would have Eigen notifications across their socials on, because once they announce a cap increase for LSTs on the mainnet, they fill up quickly. And staking LSTs is the only way to participate on the mainnet with smaller amounts of ETH. Although there is a testnet you can use, and why not kill two birds with one stone? Qualify for another big airdrop from a different protocol who is utilizing EigenLayer. That crypto protocol is AltLayer, an elastic and versatile scaling solution for Ethereum. So first, what is AltLayer? AltLayer is a roll-up as a service protocol that helps application developers to launch their own layer 2 roll-ups. No coding required. And these roll-ups are going to be secured through EigenLayer restaking. So how do you qualify for AltLayer's potential airdrop? Well, they have a campaign going on right now called Altitude, which is in phase 3. It's in collaboration with Eigen, and this campaign ends in a couple of weeks. This campaign is being run through Galaxy, and they have the tasks listed that need to be done to qualify for the points. I've included this down in the description so you at home can get involved and follow along completing the tasks. First, you need to connect an Ethereum account to Galaxy, which includes signing a message. Once connected, you need to connect the Galaxy Discord bot to your Discord so it can make sure you are doing the required tasks. You do this by clicking on the first task and just clicking on Authorize. Once authorized, just exit out of that screen and re-click on the first task. It will open their Discord server. Do the steps to confirm your identity and join the server. And once you're verified and can see all the channels in their server, close the screen and click the refresh button on the task, and it should change to a green check, meaning it is completed. The next task is to follow AltLayer on Twitter. First, you need to verify your Twitter account with Galaxy. This includes tweeting about Galaxy and then copying and pasting the tweet URL where required. Once done with that, re-click on the task. Follow AltLayer on Twitter, close this out, click the refresh button, and give Galaxy limited access to your Twitter account so it can verify. And then the green check should pop up, indicating the task is complete. Now we get into the meat of this campaign, the task of creating a restaking tier flash layer. The first thing you need to do is get some testnet Goerli ETH. You can get some at GoerliFaucet.com, which I've included down in the description. You just paste the Ethereum address that is connected to Galaxy, verify you are human, and then finally click Send Me ETH. Next, you need to go into MetaMask and switch your network to the Goerli testnet, and you should see the testnet ETH in your account. The next step is to swap that Goerli ETH into testnet RETH or Rocket Pool ETH. This can be done at testnet.rocketpool.net. Link is down in the description. Once there, connect your wallet with the Goerli ETH in it. Swap at least 0.015 of a test ETH into test RETH. Wait for the transaction to confirm, and finally add our ETH to MetaMask. Now it's time to restake with Eigen on the testnet. This can be found at goerli.eigenlayer.xyz. Once here, connect the wallet you've been using. Click on our ETH, make sure you're on deposit, click the max button, and click next. Go through the steps to confirm the transaction, and it should get deposited into the Eigen staking testnet. Now it's finally time to create a flash layer with AltLayer. This can be found at altitude.altlayer.io. Once you are there, connect the wallet you've been using. Click on Create, then click Restaking Trial, and then Confirm. It then should show your EigenLayer deposits. Click Proceed. Now you are in the Create Flash Layer dashboard. The only thing I changed was my Flash Layer name to Chico Crypto. Everything else I just left as the default settings. Finally, you need to confirm you are a human, validate that you own the address by signing a message, and finally click Create. If you get the high demand error, just keep trying. Eventually it will go through and your flash layer will be placed in the queue. Finally, you need to go back to Galaxy and hit the refresh button on the task. You may initially get an error as this is manually updated by the curator, but eventually it will turn into a green check. Just keep trying. And then finally, the last task is to retweet a tweet from AltLayer. Do this task and click the refresh button and it should turn green. Once all checks are green, you should be eligible to claim your points on Galaxy. And you just positioned yourself to possibly receive airdrop rewards from both AltLayer and EigenLayer. 2 birds, 1 stone. Cheers, I'll see you next time.
The most trustless name in news.